Hey, welcome to the Out of Spec Podcast. We are back. I'm here with Kyle, actually in person on the same camera, and I also have Ben Spreen and Mike Breeling. And we are about to do a fun show talking about Rivian R1T deliveries, Tesla beer, French police ordering Alpine A110s, and full self-driving nearly killed us tonight. Let's get right into it.
Hold on, it's full self-driving beta. Before, and it's very much beta.
That was, important disclaimer. But let's talk about some news. So finally, Rivian R1T deliveries have begun, and some early customers have actually shared their initial delivery thoughts and pictures and their excitement. And I don't know, I'm personally very jealous, although I've never actually driven one or gotten close to one. I've seen a couple test mules in person out here in Colorado, but not up close. And I am dying to see one of these, and I'd love to own one personally. But it's fun to see people finally taking delivery, and even the little like Easter eggs on the screen, like they just greet you as you get your car. And I mean, that's not too unusual, but people standing on the tunnel.
I'm trying to think what other car greets you. I know BMW does because you can tie your profile to it. So say like
Porsche, any car with a profile can, I would think.
Yeah,
right?
MBUX does.
The Audi did.
Well, there you go. It all greets you now. But to say how, first off, they're building at this time of recording about 1.5 of these a day, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 a day. So
Okay.
that, yeah.
That's something.
They're
That's
ramping
some
up.
cars. And they're not going to general customers yet, are they? Or some of them?
I feel like we would have seen more content if they were. I think they're going to people who have some level of association with Rivian to an extent. Otherwise, I think we'd see a lot more video because the first person to get one would be all over getting their social media clout for it.
Well, Travis has been posting about it. I've
Yeah.
been checking out his Twitter about the truck because I'm really interested in the Rivian. And yeah, he's been posting all about it. He charged at EA, did all this stuff.
He
Took it on a road trip.
He ordered white,
But he works for Rivian.
Exactly.
Yeah,
How
I'm
does
not
he
sure.
order a white one? It should just be green or yellow.
and they have
Compass yellow.
of course, the Driver Plus, which is autopilot. Except,
So are there any buttons on the steering wheel or is it just wood? I'm just looking at
I
it.
think those are blank buttons to left and right, if I'm not mistaken. They are
they're
physical deep
Tesla
things, though.
Tesla buttons, like identical functionality. Even the button on the left, the scroll wheel, lets you adjust the steering wheel and mirrors, just like Tesla.
Yeah.
Like it's identical.
But I think on the side of the thumb wheel, those are left and right buttons, basically.
Oh, toggles to go. I see.
Yeah.
So you don't push the scroll wheel.
Yeah,
I don't
You
believe
hit the
so,
button.
no.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. The interior
Did
looks
he
great.
put-
The exterior looks great. Everything about this truck just looks amazing. The big question is, how does it drive? We've not seen any, I would say, EV well-versed drivers drive this thing yet. We've seen like a couple people cruise around off-road in them on the launch. And a lot of these people that I follow at least are like, have never really been hardcore off-roading before. So it's like, we could take them out in the smart car and blow their minds.
yeah.
Do we really know how this thing drives yet? I don't think it's been put through its paces, really.
Yeah, they brought some people out to a course that they set up. So I wouldn't say independent testing per se, but people getting
But
their
those
hand-
were owners or reservation holders.
I mean, Motor Trend had it for a bit.
No, well, they
I
took
think
it
it's
off
been
the country.
tested, but I don't think it's been like, it's not gone to a media outlet who's running it through a gauntlet of tests. It's been,
so
here's
no
some
media outlets-
specific areas where you're allowed to use it, almost sort of thing. They're curated, but they're getting adventure out of it still.
Yeah, I mean, they had that one event here in the Rocky Mountains with some media personnel, but a lot of them were actually tech journalists, not actually car journalists, which was kind of cool on one hand to see, I guess, techie people getting their hands on it. But we already know its tech probably works. We just, as car enthusiasts, we want to know how it actually handles in various environments. And that was a course designed by Rivian. They didn't let anyone else go kind of off on their own. So we'd be excited to do that ourselves.
But it was still a pretty hard course. I mean, they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, our friend Tom Malogny went on this trip, and we spoke to him at length about it, and it sounded gnarly. He was so impressed with it. He loved driving it on the highway. But yeah, I want to know, can I drift it first of all? Because that honestly
Drift
is like,
mode.
It has a drift button.
Yeah, but will it work on pavement or just dirt?
I don't know.
No one knows.
That's an important question.
Yeah,
But,
it
I mean,
is.
it has air
I know it
suspension.
sounds silly, but that's important to know. Like, can I kick the back end around?
It is it's probably the second most important buying quality I look for in a vehicle at this point in my life. I think it's probably similar for you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So if it does go sideways, then that's honestly, a big contributing factor to going for this over the vehicle I have an order in for now. Because the one that I have an order in for now will not slide under power.
Wait,
true.
is this a new order?
No, Cross Turismo 4s.
No, you know
Oh,
about it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew about it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I'm like, I forget. I'm looking at a rear wheel drive, but I'm like, yeah, it'll totally go sideways.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but since I've seen these deliveries taking place on social media, I think I've come close to reserving one like 4 times.
Me too. I just hover over
I get to the payment screen, and I'm like, oh, Apple Pay, and then I just like, no, I don't need to do it, and I don't do it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just like, I'll just find one from a canceled order. I don't want to put my reservation in.
Yeah.
So
It's like,
honestly, I really am, just to be totally transparent with our audience, I think we're going to put the Taycan on hold and get an R1S maxed out every option.
Yes, I like this.
Especially as we're going to be launching our Out of Spec overlanding channel next year. Honestly, no, the Taycan's a purchase decision for me, but not for the company. If I can do me and the company, that's just a better use of our funds. And by the way, it's like 65% the cost of the Taycan.
Yeah.
65% faster.
That's the thing. It's
Wait,
faster.
are you telling me that Taycan is
has more range.
expensive? I'm not sure about this. I've always seen it positioned as a very strong value in its segment.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, this is going to be faster, have more range, in theory can slide, has 2 more motors, and I can put the dogs inside of it, like, and not worry about it. And I can take it up a mountain.
Yeah.
You can have 8 dogs in that R1S.
Yeah, well, that's what I like. I just wish I could
just get the 5-seater.
Yeah, I am just going to get the 5-seater.
That's all I would get.
Yeah, I don't need a 7-seat. But I do want the kitchen thing, which you can only get in the R1T.
I know. It's so conflicting because I love the concept of the gear tunnel. Like, it's so cool.
If it makes you feel better, the R1S is a shorter wheelbase, so better off-roader. But you can't get the biggest battery pack in it, most likely, as a result.
Well, that's a bummer because I really want the big one, because I know it's 300-mile EPA, which is fine. I don't care about the range. I care about the charging. With a bigger battery pack, hopefully you could charge at peak rates longer.
I'm pretty positive.
I wouldn't
bigger battery pack because the wheelbase is shorter, but the rear overhang is longer. It's effectively the same size, more or less.
But here's
the battery sits in the middle of the axles, basically. So, and there was actually some. I'm deep into Rivian forums at this point because I'm suffering from the same issue we all are, wanting to order one.
I told you to order one instead of your Taycan.
Well, we have 2 years or 3 years, however long we lease it, to enjoy it, and then we'll get a Rivian. We'll just jump around with it.
But here's the thing. This all depends on it driving well, which none of us have driven it, which is unusual because I think I've driven every other new electric car on the market, like every other one.
Yeah, it's like they're avoiding EV people on purpose.
Well, actually, Rivian doesn't like. First off, they're great people. I'm sure they're nice. 2 years ago, they were very responsive. I'd shoot them a message and say, here's our content plan. We want to take one to Alaska. All sounds great. Then they got a little silent. But to be fair, we're like pretty down on the totem pole in terms of numbers. They're doing Marquez Brownlee. They have this other guy in New York that's huge. And these aren't media vehicles. They're like early reservation experience vehicles. Which is fine. I'm sure at some point we'll get one to test because they know we exist. We know they exist. We have a good relationship. No issues there with Rivian. It's just, where do we fall in the priority list? And the answer is pretty far down because the EV segment, even though we might have some of the larger outlets in the EV segment, especially, pulling inside EVs, that's such a small world compared to Marquez's tech world, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to get one for a while. I bet we'll drive an owned car before we get a media vehicle. Just my guess. I would love to get a media vehicle though. People have been like tagging Rivian on Twitter saying, "Hey, get Out of Spec one of these things," which is cool. Definitely do that.
Yeah, keep tagging.
Now, in the videos I've seen on this, my personal favorite little thing has been the 7,707th battery cell. Have you seen that?
No.
Where that one is?
It's the flat.
So it has Yeah, it's the flashlight in the door. It's 7,776 cells, and the RJ was like, no, just go all 7s. Where we put one.
Really?
So that's where the rechargeable flashlight is in, because it's the same battery cell the truck uses. I think that's really cool, and I like that approach to it. And I'm sure there will be maybe a few more little things we discover as deliveries go up, but that's been my favorite tidbit.
I like their marketing. I like their story. I like the attention to detail. I like the outdoorsy thing. It's the emotional buy. The car isn't technically impressive. It doesn't have all the range of the world. Doesn't charge all that fast. It doesn't it's cool.
Yeah.
But it just looks awesome, and it's going to look awesome here in Colorado.
I want to review the Bluetooth speaker that removes from the cabin. I want to see
right.
That is.
Yeah, a lot of content opportunities. Look, I hope it has the same following as Tesla viewership did early on. That might be I think it has the chance to become like the second Tesla from a passionate enthusiast base. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing for us to cover. I really am leaning towards just getting one. Even if it's not good, we'll just share it's not good, sell it, and then our Taycan. We might not even cancel our Taycan order because they're getting pushed back, and I want a variant that's not quite on sale yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
with the what I would say about the Rivian ownership group is like the Reddit forum for it is very active, which is something that I only have really noticed in the Tesla world. So it's kind of nice to see owners or future owners being very excited.
Very passionate too, though.
They are. Although I did see some tidbits of charging on Rivian and was not terribly impressed. I don't know if you saw someone who's charging it like
anything impressive regarding charging in Rivian.
I think it was like 60-ish% state of charge, and it was like, oh, I got 101 kilowatts. I'm like, oh no, that's not what I want out of a 135 kilowatt hour battery pack.
I ran into one at a Electrify America station, snooped around, of course. And so what I need to do is, at 80% state of charge, it was doing 60 kilowatts. That's a pre-production truck. It was prototype.
Yeah.
But still not the most amazing charging power at 80% state of charge. That maybe has no relevance to the production model. That's just, it wasn't doing like 200.
It needs Taycan charging curves, because if I have one, I want to tow with it. It's going to happen. And that's really where...
Because it has such a great towing capacity, at least advertised. So if you can't charge quickly, that's going to be really rough. So, well, Tesla beer.
Yeah, I feel like I need a beer.
Seamless.
Like a 10-day-old Starbucks cup. Look, it's already discolored, actually.
That's cool.
Throwing that out. I haven't been downstairs in forever, obviously.
I know you've been traveling. You've been home.
It didn't just clean itself. Yeah, no, I replaced your front control arms, but I didn't clean the basement.
Yeah, by the way, we need to talk about that because my car is making a terrible noise now.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, it's clicking on the front right. Click, 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 click.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so maybe something's not so tight.
Yeah, that's fun. So did you guys experience the Tesla tequila? Like, did anyone actually try that?
No, but I would. I just like the bottle. I'd have the bottle like this. If that's what the Tesla beer thing looks like, I really want one just because I think it's a cool display item.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all their things they've sold. The surfboard, maybe not so much the shorts, although I could see some Tesla fans framing the shorts in like a shadow box. But the Tesla tequila or Tesla Keela and the surfboard were really cool. But now,
I used the flamethrower. I don't know if that counts. That was pretty fun. But I think that was Boring Company.
I should have bought one of those, yeah.
The not a flamethrower, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was really fun.
But the beer intrigued me. I mean, I'm a big beer fan. I moved to Colorado and it just happened. But it hasn't really been like totally confirmed, but the company filed trademarks for Giga Beer and Giga Beer, the German variant. So I don't know what else you could glean from that. Plus these like visuals on stage. So that's pretty interesting.
I think it might even be brewed in Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
which would be cool. So that means I know I should be able to buy it here in America, not like, it's a German only, market only type beer. But that would be cool if they actually release a limited edition.
And it's brewed by Starbase Brewing LLC. So
yeah, there you go.
Between the lines, that's pretty obvious. It even looks like some variant of a SpaceX ship that Elon just hasn't announced yet.
Looks like the new Cybertruck rendering. Cyber beer.
That would be interesting. It's like the Rivian R1T has a little pocket for your flashlight, and the Cybertruck could have a pocket for your Tesla beer.
Is this our first Swerve Auto story we've ever done?
On the podcast, yes.
Hell yeah. This is our new site. Check it out, swerveautos.com. Mike runs it.
By runs it, he means I try to run it.
I mean, stores like
No,
this.
When you go
seriously.
to the website, it's still there. That's
Yeah.
that's right.
I mean, seriously, we have
More
new
do you need?
content just about every day. We try to at least post up new content, whether it be breaking news or new, like the Tesla beer here. Like that was something that we posted earlier this week. And then obviously we'll have Tesla articles, Rivian articles. So it's basically like your one-stop shop for automotive enthusiast content.
Yeah, and we're going to do a whole segment, I haven't told you guys yet, on base cars. I think I texted you about this, Mike.
Yes, you did.
You know you can get a new Jeep Wrangler JL without air conditioning, and it's still over $30,000.
Yes, so
Whoa.
that made me question. I haven't looked it up, but it did make me question when I read your text today. I was like, is that the only new car you can buy in America without air conditioning? It
GT3
probably is.
Wait, what about Cayman GT4 when that comes out?
GT4 comes with it standard in the US.
Maybe there's like a weird Lotus. There's got to be cars without AC.
Oh, you could definitely. Well, you could buy an Elise without AC in the US.
Oh,
The RS.
I thought we had this
Elise.
conversation at dinner. We're like, let's do a whole list of cars you can buy without air conditioning new.
Wait, there's some supercars and hypercars you can buy with an AC.
McLaren,
McLaren did it. Yeah.
Yeah, McLaren you couldn't get because
Well, the Senna, yeah.
It was the 765 LT, and everyone was like, "This is dumb. I'll take the 25 pounds to have air."
Oh, we lost.
yeah, but
Ben.
I meant like mainstream car. Like, come on, a McLaren. That's not a
JL,
mainstream
the fact that
car.
it's a new Jeep without air conditioning is just
You have to
insane.
option it for $1,300. I think.
Is it that much money?
Yeah, I think it's
Holy
like 12 or
shit.
$1,300 because it's all the bypass and everything, like the tubes and all that.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Wow.
Well, Ben, we're losing them.
Sounds like a robot.
Sound like
Yeah,
a
man, I
robot.
don't know what happened to you.
I don't know.
One moment. I've got a dongle.
All right. Well, let's just mute Ben in the meantime. Yeah. So JL, I think Mike, we should do a whole base car series. Like I saw, there's a group on Facebook. I think it's like base models only or something like that.
I'm sure
And-
there is.
Yeah, and there was a Jetta that you could buy brand new with no options and a manual, and it had like every missing button, and it was great.
Oh, yeah. Well, back like in 2014, 2013, you could actually buy Jetta without air conditioning as well.
Wait, that recent of a Jetta you could buy without air conditioning?
Yeah. It was a manual, crank windows, no
Huh,
AC, and
really?
the base anemic 100 horsepower motor.
Oh my god!
I want to
2 points slow. I
It was
forgot
like
about that
11
one.
grand or something. It was very inexpensive.
Wow, that's wild.
I've only ever seen one.
We got to track these down. So yeah, new base car series. I'm fascinated.
Nissan Frontier.
No, you can get AC. It's not base enough.
Oh, the
The
new.
new
I guess they've
Frontier?
got a new Nissan Frontier.
The new
Yeah, but I'm not
Frontier
talking about
looks
the new one.
terrible, by the way. Unless you get a Pro 4X, then it looks amazing.
Agreed. You need the best one.
Yeah, you have to get a Pro 4X, and it's the best looking truck on the market. Otherwise, like I saw Redline Review Sophion had like an S base one, and I'm like, oh, we got the good one in Colorado, thankfully. Nissan knew to put the good looking one out here. And wherever he is in Maryland or something like this, like they just
Yeah.
have like a base spec, and oh, it looked terrible.
Terrible.
This is like a weird offshoot of like weird specs, but I drove I guess it was like a diesel 2500 Chevy pickup truck.
Nice.
Did you know how everything has like a triple blink turn signal? Those do
Yeah.
6 blinks.
I think it's a setting. You can go in the GM
I
stuff.
think I
And
think
it's-
I was in tow haul mode, which is sport mode for trucks, obviously. And
Yes.
I'm guessing it seemed to be tied to that, or at least maybe there's a setting that disconnects the two. But I thought that was an interesting decision.
We've actually had a few press cars this past year that let you control the number of blinks.
Yes,
I
it's
didn't
like
know.
it's like common in settings. I didn't know this.
Hyundai's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hyundai
Hyundai will
does a
do
lot.
that. Yeah.
5 levels deep, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is.
How many blinks do you want?
The
can we
was
talk
it,
about-
GV80 had the tailgate speed. The power
That's right.
tailgate speed had 3 choices for that. It was like the most unnecessary option ever.
You guys seem to like that GV80 though. I had the good sound system, the one you had.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I liked it
like it
for
at the end.
24 hours. And then after that, I sort of like got annoyed that I had been reading everyone thought it was as nice as insert $95,000 car here, and it isn't.
Right.
It's as nice as a $60,000 car, which it is just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's nearly as good as it.
Yeah, I think you just can't hide things like cost in a car as
Like
easily when it comes to
massaging
material.
Driver, right?
Yeah,
Ours
only on the
didn't even have
driver.
massage seats because it was the
It had the
four-cylinder.
perfect position seat.
Right.
Ours was not the fully spec'd out prestige
Mhm.
model. It was like the mid trim model,
Yeah, that was the G.
which was nice because we didn't
Yeah,
have
we had
like
one, but
a
we didn't have a
bombed out one.
maxi wax one.
It was also the middle tier with the 4-cylinder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
was so
ours is a
impressed.
rear driver.
I was impressed with it. I don't care what Ben says. I liked it.
I
think it's a good car.
You know, I just
You are.
if
You
there's
grew
not
up
a
in
soft
Chapel
touch
Hill.
material in certain panels, like oh god, can't be in it.
So speaking of turn signals, because that came up, we just experienced for the first time Tesla FSD Beta. Well, it's not my first time. I guess I experienced it in Zeb's
In Zeb's car, yeah, when it
Raleigh.
first came out years ago.
Yeah, and we were
Years
like
ago,
the first
I don't know
one-
how long ago it was. It
year-
felt like forever.
I think it's over a
year
year,
ago,
but
probably.
about a year. Yeah, because it was right before we moved. I think we were living in Rocky Mountain at the time.
Yep.
And that was really sketchy when that came out, right? But now it's just as sketchy, I think. I don't think it's improved.
It's still sketchy, but now widely available.
and I think more aggressive. And there's 3 levels of aggressiveness you can choose. You can choose chill, I forget what the middle one's called, and then assertive.
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 I like the verbiage of it.
We threw it into assertive, and it stayed at that stop sign until who
Yeah,
knows
good
how long.
30 seconds
Like-
until I pushed it.
It wasn't very assertive.
It's
I was going to say
sometimes
that's the opposite.
so let's talk about the good because it wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
Straight roads are amazing, just like normal autopilot. So it's you sit
Shocker.
in a straight road, it's all good. However, we went through a couple intersections, and one intersection in particular, we're just cruising along, and then all of a sudden we go,
we hop one lane over.
I mean, like I checked, like as it was moving before I took over. Like I'm like, I don't think anyone's next to us, but it was just through the intersection, like change lanes. We were like, whoa, that's really bad. Like that's almost like even if you're paying attention and your hands are on the wheel, like unless you were really on top of it, there's no way you could catch that in time because it was moving.
Yeah.
And so, that's just a split-second decision where I thought that was pretty dangerous. Overall, straight roads were great. And straight roads were great.
It was just
everything else garbage.
When it was using autopilot, it was great. And then when it took over with the FSD part stuff, it was. I mean, it did a couple smooth lane changes by itself. That was fine.
Yep.
But then also a couple rough ones. So, yeah.
It stopped at a red light nicely once.
Yeah.
Out of the 30 we stopped at.
The other ones were really like aggressive braking.
Yeah, aggressive braking,
Like-
coasting, and then aggressive braking.
And then it was
So
leave,
it was
two
like it was
cars.
braking late towards them. Like it wasn't just like reading the light and like slowing down. Like it would just seem like, okay, I guess it's not turning green. Brake.
No, it was actually braking, and then it would like hard brake.
It would brake way too early, way too hard, like where the car behind you is like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. And so,
okay.
and then it would like coast, and then it would do it again, and then leave a big gap between you and the car in front. So I thought that was interesting. I have a video of it, by the way, of it just literally flying out of a parking lot, getting into the middle of the road, and then doing an ABS emergency stop.
I am excited to see your video on it, Kyle. I want to, because most of the videos out there that you watch are, everyone makes it look good. I mean, people want to show the highlights of it, obviously, but I don't know if I've seen a lot of videos showing a lot of like the brakes in FSD.
I think it's hard to have,
but I think it's hard to
FSD
capture.
show on video from our experience. You don't get any G-force related on video, right?
You could
So,
put a
like,
water
even
bottle on the
little-
dash.
Yeah, that's a good point. But like even these little jarring movements that just feel so unnatural sitting in the car don't translate to video at all.
So it's just
And-
very jerky, some of it. Like it just like throws you around.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes it's just like boop, and it's like and it would just like every time it would pull away at like 25 miles an hour, dip off power real quick and then get back on. like they're on video. Like, how would you ever know? Like, I guess you could look at the little power gauge, but
it was
yeah, you'd have to have it plastered.
It was 2 feet driving through turns, like it was braking and accelerating like through the turns, and it would almost curb like every time there was.
It loves curves. It loves curves. I drove over curves earlier, and so if it gets too close, you have to take over, otherwise you'll curb your wheels. The guy's car I got it from, wheels curved, every single one of them.
Wow,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's in public hands. It sounds
well. At least it gives someone a new excuse when they go get their wheels repaired, because everyone's generic excuse is like, "Oh, it was my spouse," even though it was them, because they don't want to take it. Oh, it was FSD.
It was my car.
We pissed off a Dodge pickup truck owner so bad. I think he waited at the front of Texas Roadhouse for us to walk in, and
he
we
was
just
gonna mug us.
He was pissed. I mean, we pulled right out in front of him, and then the car freaked out and hit the brakes. And I was like, well, I know he's not going to hit us, but I know we pissed him off. So I just let it do its thing, and it's just wobbling all over the place. Parking lots are terrible.
Yeah, the parking lots, it was really hesitant sometimes, and then it just like went for it. And there's not much space. I mean, there was at one point I was like, oh, there's 6 inches between me and the car.
At one point it pulled the mirrors in.
Yeah, it did. It pulled the mirrors in and pulled them back out again.
Yeah.
It does a lot of the like we're just driving down the road and it'll throw on the left turn signal, turn it off, and then throw on the right turn signal.
Yeah,
turn
for
it
no
off.
reason. We're just doing turn signals. We're going left one, right one, left one, right one. Like, why is it doing that?
It was comedic until the very end.
By the way, this is on the newest, brand new software that rolled today. I don't know.
I was going to ask if it was the 10.3
yeah,
or 1, whatever just came out.
So the newest update as of today, October 25th. But yeah, it was the scariest. Maybe was the very end when we pulled onto tried to pull onto your road.
This was crazy. Explain what happened. Yeah.
So it's now a stoplight intersection. They pulled into the center lane to like turn onto his road, and it started. There was cars oncoming. It was a blinking yellow light, right?
Yeah.
And the car was oncoming, and it was just about ready to go for it.
And it did go for it.
It did.
Right in front of the car.
And it also went down. It's a separated road. It went down the wrong side. So we went into oncoming.
Oh my God.
If there had been cars, we would have gone into oncoming traffic.
At the end of the day, I could have taken over, and I actually did when it started going in front of this car, but it had already committed to going down the wrong side of the road. I didn't have time really to bring it back. There were no cars oncoming. If someone was coming down the road, you can see, I would have obviously taken over way sooner. But I was like, let's see what this thing will do. And it went down the wrong side of the road. So then we did it again. I went back and I drove like an idiot and made a U-turn in the middle of the road. I'm like, I got to see if that was just like a weird
one-off. Yeah.
And the navigation in the car says to go down the other side of the median.
Yeah, the navigation had it right. Skip the median and go down the correct lane.
Go on the right side of the road.
Ignoring its own navigation. It was like, oh, that's just guidelines.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my own thing.
And the second time again, just cut right into the wrong side of the road. And we had to take over because there was a car coming down that side. And it's not like they're really next to each other. There's like a forest in between both sides of the road. And then they meet up at the end. So
it didn't see the big do not enter signs, I guess, too. So
guys, it's just it's not a thing. Like, it's just, I don't know how people can be enthused by this.
It seems like the highs and the lows are very extreme in each direction, because you see videos of the good stuff and it's very impressive. I remember watching Lombard Street in San Francisco and being like, wow, that's a genuinely impressive task for a car to complete. And then here it is months later, like head on into traffic.
Like multiple times it tried to pull out in front of cars. I had to take over. And this isn't even in the most assertive mode. I kept it in the middle of mode most of the time until we came home.
Was this the one I was reading on Reddit? There are people who are having their last update recalled because of issues. Do you know if yours is the one that's
after that?
Yeah, so 10.3 was recalled, and then Tesla a few hours later put out 10.3.1,
and somehow this is the patch.
This is all better.
Yeah, I don't know if that
really imagine what 10.3.0 was.
Yeah, I don't know, but it really is like I don't know if people are genuinely telling this story properly, because it's genuinely the most dangerous thing I could imagine really hitting the roads. For people like you guys or me, like, we can take over. We're like, fine, sure. Like, it looks like we're driving like an idiot. We can avoid the car crashing into people. I don't think actually like a general driver would know when to take over or not.
Yeah, I mean, you made the point of like there's no waiver when you get in the car. There's no
So if you're the first user who sets it up on that profile, you go at all the waivers. Since I just borrowed some person's car, great, I won't mention who it is, but he lives in town here, great guy, great viewer, longtime viewer. He was just like, take the car. I just got in the car and it didn't like prompt me anything. So I'm just a random person getting in the car with this system.
There's no
training,
authentication. Yeah. No authentication, no training, and you would hope people would be paying attention, but I could see lots of people not, and it's kind of sketchy. I mean, autopilot is pretty good. Full self-driving is almost a scary gimmick at this point.
They shouldn't call it full. First off, like we don't need to go down that whole thing, but it's not full self-driving. It actually requires more attention than just driving normally. And it's way less safe than driving normally. Is it fun? Absolutely. It's great. We're laughing the whole time. We're like, oh my God, we almost died. We're like, we're getting flipped off. Sorry, it's not us. It's the car. We were doing this the whole time. Like, it's not us. Blame Elon. Tweet at Elon.
It's funny. The comment about like, oh, I can't believe people in the public have access to this. That's what we just talked about, like people having access to model plaid speed. It's like, how can the general public have this? It's crazy. But compared to this, that feels safer.
Oh, plaid speed is so safe compared to whatever they're putting in this FSD bullshit. Excuse my language.
It just makes me remember. Oh, there's a combo. But
we couldn't hear that, Mike. What was it?
Oh, I said plaid speed and FSD combined. Imagine that.
Yeah, but it's pretty gentle on the throttle, the system at least. But that would be sketchy.
It just makes me think of all like if Kyle, you and I, we joined the Tesla owners Facebook group like early days, and it was really technical discussions for a while.
It was great.
And then the last like 5-ish years of it are just, what does this light mean? And it's a light that says like coolant level low or windshield washer fluid low. It's like written out, and the people are confused. What should I do?
They still are. Someone said,
why is this tire pressure lit up red? It's at 6 psi. Maybe that's why.
These are the Tesla owners, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is, we were in town on a speed limit 30, and you were able to set it at 80 miles an hour.
That's right. You know, in normal autopilot, you can only go 5 over.
Yeah.
This, you can go up to 80 miles an hour everywhere.
In the city.
And it'll do it. Like, we were doing like 70 down my little road here, and it doesn't look at bumps on the road. It doesn't look for speed bumps. It doesn't do any pothole avoidance like they said it was going to do. It doesn't. It's just
coming.
I mean, look, it's not a thing. I don't know. I think this is the biggest sham, really is. It's really sketchy.
Yeah, Kyle, you have expressed your disdain in this whole program for a while. I mean, I think it's known by the viewers or listeners.
It's true. It's just like the cars are so great. They're so fun to drive. They're amazing to own. Autopilot's amazing for highway driving.
Yes.
Reduces so much fatigue. I'm such a big fan of all this. I wouldn't keep buying them if I didn't love them. But this full self-driving nonsense is going to get people into way more trouble than if they just drove normally. I genuinely, at least at this point, do all this testing internally at Tesla. Hire as many people as you need. Train people properly. I have no problem with people using this system on the road as long as they're properly trained, safety drivers paying attention. Because then at that point, I don't think there's a risk. I don't think we were ever at risk of crashing today, but I think we pissed a lot of people off. But I don't think a normal average driver could really make those, not to say I'm much better than anyone, but like, I don't think my mom would know, okay, I understand kind of where the car is thinking, and I kind of understand what that person's thinking about what the car is doing, and then I'm just kind of monitoring it.
And I think Tesla
sounds exhausting.
Yes. Tesla is trying to do that sort of with their whole, like, you have to have 100 safety score. Well, as of now at 99, but
it doesn't demonstrate vehicle control and attention at all.
That could very much be like
my friend on the highway.
Yeah, it could be my friend's grandma who gingerly drives her Model 3. And then suddenly she has FSD beta, and she's like, "Oh, cool, what's this?" I mean, that's scary. Like, I would think they would have safety score fine, but like, I would think they would have this whole like required training test through it. Like, I don't know, like that.
Oh, by the way, it just like completely blew through a stop sign too. So, you know what? I'm just going to show you the video because I recorded it and it was hilarious. And it's 1 minute 48 seconds. I'll just skip to the good parts here for you. So first off, here I am driving. Hold on, let me turn up the volume. We'll see if you can see this. Driving down a road here. Coming up to a road crossing. Driving straight for the curb and brake. Oh my God, it just flew out into the road. Full of emergency stop. And then it didn't know what to do.
In the middle of the road.
Yeah. So then I don't know if you guys can see this too. So here I am coming up on a stop sign on the right. See that?
Someone's got to.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Blowing through a stop sign there. Totally just stop sign completely. How is this safe?
Well, yeah. I guess the good news is you only had to pay $10,000 for all of this frustration.
Wait,
and
$10,000. Then you had to get the safety score, which you have to drive actually.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To get the score, because you can't stop for stop signs. If you stop too abruptly, that's unsafe. So people were just blowing through stop signs, so they didn't.
And you can't use your acceleration, I'm imagining, or corner nicely,
which is keep it going gentle on the steering. Kids in the road, run them over. That doesn't hurt your score. It really doesn't.
It's just funny because the full self-driving itself, I would give it a score of 33. Like, it was not safe.
I would say sometimes it's amazing. Some on a lot of the straight roads, we'll put up the whole video. We'll share. It's really not bad all of the time.
Yeah.
It's just anytime it needs to change off course.
It's just edge cases, which was a lot of our drive.
Well, the entire drive's an edge case. Like a left
driving
turn
is edge cases. Yeah.
Yeah, a left turn was edge.
It's just crazy. You're going on a left turn. I got a GTI on my bumper. It gets freaked out. It goes on the brakes. And I'm like, oh, this guy's no normal person would ever just hit the brakes right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think there should be a little sign on the outside of the car that's robot driving or something to indicate to other users that this is not going, even if a bad driver's driving, they sometimes display predictable behavior. We all drive.
You can see that.
Yeah,
we kind of get how this person's been driving and they'll have that same MO going forwards. This is driving fine, driving like you had 9,000 beers, and then the other one's you're high on speed, and you're driving crazy. It's just crazy and not predictable.
Tesla beer.
Well, the day it can drive me home from the brewery, then I'll be bought in.
I bet there are certain situations where this could, in theory, complete an entire drive without crashing.
I believe that, yeah.
But
I think there are certain roads.
Is that a good measure? I didn't kill anyone or hit anything, therefore I'm okay to drive.
Well, have you ever heard the description of the difference between a professional and an amateur before? Okay, so it's an amateur practices until they get something right, and professional practices until they can't get something wrong. And so that's kind of where FSD is. It's in that middle area right now. It can do some stuff right, but it does a lot of stuff wrong still.
Yeah, totally agree, 100%. This is Atticus, by the way, our Great Dane Foster. Atticus, come here. Come here. Up. Come on. Up. Say hi to the people on YouTube. Atticus, come on. Wow, you can see him at least.
His head is huge.
He's a real
baby horse.
Chunky boy. Yeah, this dog's great. Yeah, and
audio only listeners, you guys are missing out on this part right here.
So sorry to derail the whole conversation with FSD Beta, but I think that might make a good clip for you to post sometime. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I feel bad because there are a lot of Tesla people who genuinely believe their car will be full self-driving. I'm not saying I don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't want full self-driving to happen. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that based off of the displayed behavior of the car in our testing today, we are in nowhere even the same planet to where a deployable self-driving system, even geo-fenced for this car, would make any sense whatsoever. Atticus is leaning hard.
Yeah, it was a bit scary to just have a robot who, it's like the robot never knew what it should do, so it was taking guesses.
It was really confident that, let me do something else.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, you were doing something in a Tesla Model 3. Tell us
about it. Oh, yeah, I did. I, with the Taycan coming up, I have 4 extra Tesla wheels, and so I felt like 2 of them had too much tire left on that wheel. And so really, there's only one good solution to that. I took it to Piedmont Drift in North Carolina and just shredded. Right? Yeah, I've done it twice now. And just absolutely shredded tires for a whole day. I think we probably did. I mean, I went from 80-something% to 50%. Nice. And it's a 1 mile course. So, nice. And it's lower speed. So it's actually quite a lot. I think we did 30 runs. The tires held up very well, actually.
Amazing.
But it's a fun way to introduce people to EVs because they're all it's in a rural area. So they've seen a Tesla before, but it's at a drag strip. So they're all like, I didn't know you could do that in this. How did you do that? What did you do to make it do this? There's actually one person who owned a Model 3 with a base, and they were like, how did you make yours do this? And I was like, oh, you need a performance to do this. But told him about the fuse. And he was like, whoa, really? And we went and did it on his car. And he got freaked out by the lack of power steering and didn't do anything, which is a little unfortunate. But maybe he'll be brave enough later on.
Heard anything.
Dang.
Well, it's really heavy when it's off in that car. So because it's quick ratio, it's a heavy car. I think for some people that just feels so much different. Maybe it's a bit frightening, but that was quite fun. We got some good photos of that, which are on my Twitter, I believe. You can see those there.
Yep,
They're definitely on your Facebook. I don't know about Twitter.
Yep, they are on his Twitter.
Most of them places. I don't remember anymore.
Yep, and
Well,
I mean, look, that's just a cool thing. I think from our side, that's the best part of Tesla is the Model 3 Performance is one of the best performing cars in general.
Yep.
And yeah, truly,
It does a little bit of everything quite well.
Yeah, it really does a good job. There's been absolutely on the limit.
I like the Miata in the background.
Yeah.
Wait, what is the offensive comment say? Let's see. Open that. Hit show.
It wouldn't show for me. I don't know what that is.
Really?
I think it was like spam or something. Yeah, it doesn't show anything.
Doesn't show
I was trying to figure it out the whole time. I think if you go to my Twitter, the banner image is another shot that has a bit more speed, which is a bit better.
There
that
we
one
go.
was pretty good.
Leaned over. Well, that just shows you the thing about Model 3 though is it's so unbelievably stiff on the roads. I think from like a spring range standpoint, but then like when you lean it over, it's pretty soft. So it's not a great compromise.
This is the one issue I do have with the Model 3 suspension. Well, I have a couple, but no camber adjustment for one in the road. It's very annoying. But it's on the road, bouncy and firm, and then the second you want to do performance driving, it is so squishy and wallowy. It's like how did you get this combination of suspension dynamics out of a car?
Yeah,
normally
it should be.
Yeah, it's just like, are the springs installed upside down? I know that's how springs works, but it just feels so distinctly wrong at both at times. And the performance really didn't help that much. It's basically the same stuff, but. I think if I were to be keeping that car, I would be very, very much probably spending some money on Mountain Pass performance bits.
So since we're talking about cars that we drove this week or things that we did, I guess we have 2 media vehicles in the fleet this week. We'll have a couple more next week that we'll talk about. It's really nice ones next week. New S-Class.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice.
I've already seen one of those on 26-inch wheels, lighting. By the way. Just wanted to let you know.
Wait, where?
In Raleigh. We saw a brand new one.
Yeah, brand new one.
Awful gigantic wheels.
At least 24-inch wheels. At least.
I think 26 is.
So it's a donked out new S-Class.
Oh yeah. It's already happening.
Already.
Does it have
probably the first one locally?
Is it the 10 degrees of rear steer version?
I mean, it was going in a straight line, so it'd be tough to tell.
But these wheels were big.
Yeah, well, that's next week's car, which I'm very much looking forward to. But I'm also traveling, so I won't get to spend that much time with it. But you can have it while I'm gone, which will be cool.
Wow.
We have
the
A35 AMG, which is the 2-liter 4-cylinder all-wheel drive little sedan AMG.
It's a spicy little thing.
It is pretty spicy, I will say.
It's
not 45. In Europe, you can get the A45 hatchback.
The hatchback,
that would be the move.
That's the move. And like that versus RS3 hatch, that would be an ultimate battle to do because the RS3 now has the rear. It has 5 cylinders and it has the overdriving rear drift mode thing. And I got to go for a ride in that car in Italy at an Audi event. And it was amazing. That car is truly incredible. So the A45, I really haven't even driven it on a back road yet. I've driven it, I think, like 20 miles the entire week because I've been busy. I'm going to take it out and film with it hopefully tomorrow. And it's on snow tires, though. So, like, I don't know. It's very squishy. So
hopefully you get some snow.
Yeah, I guess to break it down, sounds really good on upshifts and downshifts. It goes, bam, bam, nice cracks on the upshift, crackles on the downshifts in Sport Plus mode, really turns it up. But the dual clutch is just horrendous at low speeds. It's just revving up 2, 3, sometimes even 4,000 RPM before it engages, and it's just gets all confused. And Ben, you and I spoke about this yesterday, but you can kind of rev it while it's in gear. If you smack the throttle enough, you go boom, boom, boom before it.
Yeah, if you're in first gear, creeping along in that, or a couple different models of dual clutch cars, if you just go from 0 to full throttle like this, just do a couple taps, you can kind of get the revs up. Because I think what it's trying to do is eventually engage closer to like 2,000 RPM to help give you a quicker launch. But if you just come off before it does it, it won't engage. So you get this sort of like, it's like you're in neutral almost, sort of pseudo neutral, which is quite a bit of fun to goof around with.
Massively in reverse. In reverse, I'm going blum, 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 blum,
It's like a GT3 Porsche.
Yeah, but it's like I really can't drive a manual transmission, but I'm just revving this silly little Mercedes sedan.
I'm curious to hear what your thoughts will be on it after some more driving. I drove the A35, and I actually, it's not the car for me, but I like it, and I see why someone would like it. It's a great performance car for someone who lives in LA but doesn't go to the canyons or something like that, if that makes sense.
Great.
It's sort of a styling thing. It's sort of got the look, it's got the sound, it's got a bit of the feel. It's not really a full-on chassis that is set up for that really performance drive. I mean, it's still front-wheel drive based, and it handles quite well, but it
of the power to the back.
Yeah, it's like a. I mean, if you want to flex and say you've got an AMG,
no, it's for someone who wants to lease. It walks into the dealer. I just got my first job or my first rap album hit, whatever it is. Give me an AMG, but I have like a 480 credit score and I want the lowest payment.
I was going to say, my dad promised me I could get an AMG if I got a 4.0 GPA before going to college.
That works too. Here's the clutch situation. I filmed this because
get so confused. Look at this. 2,500, 3,000 RPM. Wow.
Oh, you can get really high up in that car.
Yes. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah. So, you can't not hear it. It's an AMG.
That's hilarious.
So I also have another vehicle this week, which is nice. Depending on if you like to be in incognito mode, because it's fall, the time of the year is changing, and you can't see it at all. Like this car, you drive down the road, and you just hear a whisper because it's electric, but it physically like I lose it in parking lots.
Yeah,
because it's the new 2022 burnt orange, the color of fall. Nissan Leaf, blending in with all the other Leafs. I walk out, I start looking at trees. I'm like, where is this thing?
Yeah, if you park in a field of aspens, you'll never find it. It's just a goner at that point. You got to wait till winter. And it's honestly the perfect car for the perfect time of the year. It's fall colors everywhere. It's burnt orange. It's a Nissan Leaf. I made the jokes on TikTok. No one cared. I thought it was funny. And
I don't think people got it, actually. I think they were like, oh, it's the same colors. But I think they missed the leaf connection was the issue.
Obvious, yeah.
Well, I have another one going where I start with, oh, this is the new Leaf. Oh, this one must be the base model. This one's the SL Plus. And it's a great car. I mean, we had the exact same car in red. Remember, Ben, last year in North Carolina?
I actually liked it. Other than the CHAdeMO and some charging deficiencies, I think it's a great EV.
Yeah, it really is now that the price has come down. It's $27,400.
For the Plus?
No, for the base one.
Oh, okay.
But this means after tax credit, it's $19,900. That's why it's $27,400. And so it's under $20,000, and then we get an additional, I think, $2,000 to $3,000 in Colorado. And then if you lease it, it's like $59 or $60 a month.
Oh, it's probably the best lease out there by far.
I think it's.
Would you like Netflix or an entire car?
There you go. And
Netflix does have a lot of content, admittedly, but
or you could lease a Mazda MX-30 for $360 a month.
Is that their national lease ad on that? Actually,
it's only California, so that's including all the state stuff too.
But then when you go in, there's going to be taxes. There's going to be other costs associated. So it's a $500 car.
Yeah, it's really bad. So like an ID4 makes way more sense than MX-30.
Yeah. This
Leaf blows away the MX-30 in every measurable way because it charges faster even after it thermal throttles.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You can't have rapid gate if you don't have rapid.
There you go.
That's the solution.
But actually, MX-30 does get hot, even with active thermal management at 33 kilowatts. So it's just didn't like that car, but love the Leaf, actually. And I've honestly been taking it out of anything in the driveway. I have the Smart here. I have the new Mercedes here. We have our Tesla. We have the Sprinter. I've been driving the Leaf all around because now that it's getting colder out, engine warm-ups a thing. So I kind of don't like to take the Mercedes, the AMG, unless I'm like, oh, I'm going on a trip where it'll warm up because it's not fun to drive slow with that dual clutch. The Leaf, I can just get in, burn out of the driveway. It doesn't care, and I'm at Starbucks in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I shut it off.
It's a very easy car for someone to, if you are, especially if you can lease it, it's such an easy electric car for someone who's new to EVs to just get in, use, be happy with, have zero complaints. It's I don't know if it was food, it's like mashed potatoes. No one's going to complain about it. Well, maybe it's better food, but
I would just get the small battery because you can't take this on a road trip anyway because of rapid gates.
So and with Chatamo, it's just
it's
going to get harder and harder.
And you're going to get worried about showing up to a charger with one Chatamo. Just get a base one with I think you need the one up to get the better headlights and like the app connectivity, whatever it is.
You need the SV.
Yeah, because remember Haley's car didn't have an app on the base car.
No, and it didn't have the the LED lights.
LED.
You probably might want.
Yeah, so you need the one with LEDs, but small battery. Let's say you're into this thing for $20,000 after dealer discount and incentives. Like that's a great daily driver, I think. And you want to know my favorite part about this whole car? It's really weird, and I feel kind of like this is like my mom thing. But because the heated seat switches are so old school, they stay on when I hit them.
Oh, I like this. Yeah.
So every time I get in, the heated seats are on, and even the heated steering wheel stays on. It remembers.
Oh, because they
click. They're latching, I guess is the right term, right?
Yeah, but the steering wheels are latching electronically. That one's not like a push in and out.
Oh, nice.
So that one's just programmed to stay on. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
This is the best feature for these cold mornings.
It's actually a very common Lexus and Toyota do that on a lot of cars, and I really do appreciate that because if it's cold or hot, chances are it's cold or hot the next day. You might as well leave it there.
You know what Lexus and Toyota don't do with heated steering wheels though? They don't heat the whole wheel. They only do the sides.
Oh.
So if you're going around
corner, that's right. They don't do the top or anything.
Ooh, toasty. Ooh, cold.
But if you get an LS, then it heats the whole wheel. So if you're in a premium Toyota, then you know
or an LS.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes. So the nice ones get the whole wheel heated. But like I was in RAV4 Prime back when it was cold last winter, and every time I'd have to make like a sharp turn hand over hand, I'd like grab the wheel like this.
He was treating it like
a yoke.
The yoke.
Like a yoke. Yeah.
It's a yoke in training right there.
It's the yoke.
Toyota's preparing you for it.
Yeah, so anyway, the Leaf is honestly better this year than it was last year because the value's good. And maybe it's just my use case. Maybe it's because I moved to Colorado, but I'm really enjoying it more than I ever have, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good thing is they're turning it into an SUV, I think.
Yeah, so what's up with that? That's not the Aria?
Same platform.
I think it's a completely different car.
Same platform. And what people are speculating
it's like a CUV Bolt.
Yeah, they're speculating whether it'll be a Leaf replacement, like they'll call it the Leaf, it's just the new gen Leaf, or if it's going to like replace the Leaf literally and they call it something else and the Leaf is gone forever.
Well, I thought that's what the Aria was. I thought Leaf was gone, Aria was in.
No, I think the Aria was like the more upscale version of their.
It's like the Murano, and this might be the Leaf will become the Rogue Sport.
Yeah, something like that.
That's probably
how's that for Nissan product knowledge?
That's pretty good, but there's no new Murano anymore, and there's also
Is there not? Oh, I thought there was. I thought I saw one recently.
There's no. Although the new Pathfinder came out, but what was the what was the more rugged one they had? They had a Mike. You would know this. Nope, they have a
Pathfinder.
There's one that's.
It was a Pathfinder. Oh, the Xterra.
The Xterra. They need to bring back the Xterra to compete with like
they should on the Frontier platform. It would look awesome.
Yes,
that's a good idea.
Maybe they'll
Nissan. That's free advice right there. You just have to get them one.
Nissan still has no money to develop a car like that, though.
Yeah, but they
don't have to
redone their entire product.
Oh, I know. I saw a new Pathfinder in person, and it looks really good. I know you guys had a media vehicle, and you were pretty impressed with it. So that's good to hear. I know that they got rid of the CVT and everything that made the old one terrible.
We had the Pathfinder before anyone else had the Pathfinder.
Yeah, we were the first.
Yeah,
it was great.
We have an in with Nissan. Okay, I'm not just saying nice things about the Leaf, so we get.
It's clearly listening to all of our very hard criticisms and decided that's why we at Out of Spec Motors get them first.
Right,
because I think we give them a lot of crap sometimes.
Oh, it's so true, but you know what? I think it's well deserved. And you know, my whole thing, just a little bit of inside baseball, is when I critique a vehicle, when you critique a vehicle, when we write about negatively on a vehicle, usually the PR people know. It's not like ever coming as a surprise.
Yeah.
They drive the cars. A lot of them are ex-journalists themselves. I mean, we have open, candid conversations with them. We say, look, we didn't like this. We're going to share it with our audience. Usually we don't even tell them until after it's posted. I don't usually give heads up, but like with Mazda, just put the review up, and they never called me. I haven't called them.
They knew.
They knew. Yeah, but they expected it because everyone had the same thing to say.
Yep.
So with Nissan, it actually, and with every automaker, it kind of helps when we critique vehicles, because from a PR perspective, your job, the people who loan the cars out, who are responsible for company image and overall product awareness, they want the best product to present. And if they don't have people out there saying this isn't good, how are they ever going to push the engineers to make something better? And so it really does have a total direct input. I'll tell you, I know for a fact my charging tests that Tom and I do at Inside EVs, 100% are altering future product right now on charging curves on production vehicles. And so that stuff helps make cars better.
Yeah, I mean, for the last few years, Nissan's gotten a lot of flack for having a fairly dull-looking lineup because they never updated their stuff. And then this year, suddenly, the Pathfinder, the Frontier, everything gets completely redesigned.
New Sentra was amazing. That did, I think, our highest MPG ever.
The new Rogue
looks really good. New Rogue, stellar car. 90-degree rear door opening, by the way. It's really cool. Just electric shifter. It's not like the cars really drive that much better.
None of them are perfect, but they all made strides.
Yeah, but people buying a Nissan don't really care about driving dynamics. They want to get from A to B comfortably.
Yeah.
They do that, and they look really good now, and that's what matters. And they are going to lease well, huge market share. So I think Nissan's taking the right approach. The Leaf's getting old, though, I will say. But look, for a new one or a used one, I don't know what used are going for, but I don't think you could beat leasing one of these things for well under $100 a month.
I'm sure new is a significantly better value.
Yeah, I think so. I agree, especially with the used market being through the roof these days. And I kind of don't want one with a fried battery.
Yeah,
that was just about to say. I want all the battery bars from the start.
Yeah, this one has full battery bars. I got this car with 200 miles on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to do some charging tests. The problem is it can accept 100 kilowatt CHAdeMO, maybe 84 peak, but there's no stations that can deliver 100 kilowatt CHAdeMO.
Have you checked to just see if there's any within 8 hours of you or something? How far have you expanded the search?
Well, I can't go north and I can't really go south, so it's just Denver and Fort Collins. Yeah, because by the time I get the car there, it'll be thermal throttled. So I can't even do a charging test.
No, you could just park it for a while.
Yeah, let me go drive 8 hours, get a hotel, stay overnight, drive it around to warm it up just enough to accept max power, then overheat it. Then I got to let it cool down before I drive home.
Wait for it to snow, and then you can drive it and then belly it out on a pile of snow. That's what they did with the Pikes Peak Model S years ago to keep them cool.
Right, Blake did that with the old Model S, and I did that with ID4 charging tests. This winter.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's really
I couldn't
good.
actually get. So when I plugged the car in, it was stuck. It wouldn't move forward or backwards. And then the battery must have melted enough snow where I could at the end of the session get it out. Because the whole time we're coming up with a plan. We're okay, we're going to call Drew to come over with his Tesla and pull this thing out. Because to get it to the charger, had to do max speed backwards, totally out of control into the charging station.
That's an out of spec top charging tip right there.
Speed on the way in and let the battery melt it.
If you didn't melt it enough to get traction, you weren't charging fast enough.
There you go. That was a great charging curve. That car launched with a great charging curve, still has a great charging curve, and the software update coming, because I've tested it in Europe, is going to be even better. Can't wait for it.
Well, we have one more story to squeeze in before the end. And of course, that is on the French side of things. The Alpine A110 has been ordered by the French police. And I suddenly want to go apply to be a French policeman.
Yeah, I've had the same urge just out of the blue.
Yeah, not sure what's driving it, right? That's amazing. One of my favorite cars that I've never and probably will never be able to drive, but I want to have a go one day.
Same.
Yeah.
This is been a dream car ever since I first saw James May review it back in the day. And I just love how
it's such a U car.
Oh yeah. It's quirky. I mean, it's mid-engine. I mean, it's similar-ish to the Alfa Romeo 4C, but I think this is more
Oops, sorry,
unique.
dog's barking. I apologize.
So I haven't read the article. I saw the headline, but did they state why they need 26 mid-engine sports cars, or did they just sneak that past their boss without any questions?
Well, have you seen
Yeah.
some of those roads that they have over there?
Dubai has some. Japan has not.
Yeah, but
It's almost like the French are like, kind of like when a country just randomly like ramps up their military for like other countries to see how good they are. This
rapid intervention vehicles
seems like
and the
that.
national. Okay.
Yeah. So
They look modified too.
they look awesome.
It
It's
looks
so
Are those
if
not photoshopped?
I were to buy,
Because that one has a roll cage in it. Just saying.
Maybe it's just a stunt by Alpine to like say we're doing this, and they put it on their race car version.
if I were to go buy an Alpine A110 and move to Europe, this is the livery I would put on it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So
Well, cool. I like
I don't
it.
know. I thought it was cool, but yeah, that's it for tonight. So thanks everyone for joining, and
Perfect 1 hour time.
yeah,
Great show. We got through a lot.
nailed the timing. So
Yeah.
check out. We're doing all sorts of crazy things, as you could tell from our conversation. So be sure to follow us on Twitter at out_of_spec. And I'm on Twitter, Jordan_Schieffer. Kyle, it's Kyle Connor. And Mike is M_Breeling. Benji is Benji_OOS. You might find his Tesla doing drifting randomly. So yeah, check
Usually
out all
happens.
of our fun videos on YouTube. We've got stuff on TikTok and Swerve Autos for some written pieces. And we'll see you all in the next show.